What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies. Today we're going to do a Power Rangers Lightning Collection review over the Lost Galaxy Magna Defender. And here's the packaging. Nice little picture of him on the back. I hope his sword is that detailed in the real thing. I have seen a little bit of video of him. I started to watch an episode on him just to do a little bit of research. Let's just say this guy, someone who cares about, he gets captured by the bad guys and he wants revenge. He does some stuff. Alright, so is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Who knows? You'll just have to watch it and find out, I guess. This is part of Wave 2. The other figures in the wave are the Gold Ranger from Beast Morphers, the Red Ranger from Beast Morphers, and Kimberly from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, also known as the Pink Ranger. And like in the title, I'm going to do a bonus review as well. So since this guy's kind of like an off ranger, not part of the main rangers, I'm pretty sure this guy isn't either. And so we'll kind of pair these up. This is the SPD Shadow Ranger from Wave 1 of the Lightning Collection, also known as Doggy Kruger. I guess that's the leader of them. Not really sure. I don't ever remember seeing this season before. Not in my youth. Yeah, so you could tell this is a dog here, but the very first time I saw these at a Target, like in early April, they had the whole wave. They had one of each. They had him, the White Ranger, the Lord Zed, and the other guy, the Dino Charge Red Ranger. And the first one that really caught my eye, because I never really watched Power Rangers, but I was very interested to see what they were going to look like, because they said they were going to be 6-inch scale, fit in with Black Series, Star Wars, and Marvel Legends, because they're now made by Hasbro. And so I was very interested to see, because I heard, the Power Rangers, they're going to have some really great articulation, right? And one of the best parts about this is they're putting those mid portion ab crunches in there. They got butterfly joints. You're gonna see it if you already see my review over the Gold Ranger that I already put up. Yeah, he's got some great articulation, especially in the arms and legs. But yeah, so what I've done, a little bit of research on this. I do know that I believe that little accessory right there, I think that's his morphine device or his badge or whatever. I think they printed that SPD thing or whatever on the wrong side. It's supposed to be on the smooth side. And that's like all the way through. That's like not just mine, it's like everybody's. The only other things that I know about, if you look at the way this is painted, or the picture, and the way it's painted on here, it is a little bit different and not as detailed. Some people, they took some shortcuts on the details. If you look at the gloves, you can clearly see the indentions on the end of the fingers, or like kind of like in the knuckles, the 1, 2, 3 on this right here. That's because the end of his gloves are supposed to be black, while the rest of them are blue, I believe. So maybe the other way around. But yeah, and he could be a little bit more silver right in this area. So people are complaining a little bit because of shortcuts. I said in the last video I probably wasn't going to compare these to their counterparts on the TV show because I never really seen the TV show. I remember it a little bit as when I was younger and maybe babysitting or something. And I don't. We never had the TV show on my TV. It was only when my younger siblings had a younger friend over, and we were watching them, or if we were watching them at their house. So that's the only the main ones I remember are the Mighty Morphin ones. So the originals. I think that was the most popular, and I think it ran longer than any of the other versions. I don't know that for sure, but okay, so let's go ahead and get these open. Try to make this a shorter video than the last one. And here's what I was talking about. Didn't really show the back of the package. I like the effects piece, but let's talk a little bit more about them in a minute. And see, it says includes figure and 6 accessories. It's a little blurry. My camera's not focusing in on that tiny little detail. And for you hardcore collectors, the date code on them is 90991. And I do have earlier date codes of them because this is the second or third one that I got. Hasbro actually sent me out a couple of these because they know that I review them. I review lots of stuff for them, and not just for YouTube. And so I did order Lord Zed because for some reason I didn't get Lord Zed in that package. But they did send me a couple of these, so I have duplicates. So I was happy because now I can open one and still be a Menton card collector too. Especially for the first wave. I always want to do that for the first wave. Something new that I collect. And then from wave 2 on, I'm adopting a new policy where I just open everything. if I'm going to review it, that is. Okay, so let's take out his effects piece, which is pretty simplistic. Only goes on one way, pretty much. It's got extra hands. I'm probably not going to show off that feature, but I will show you what the hands look like. The pegs are extremely long on these, and because of that, they're easy to break. And I've heard a lot of people say that they break off because they're hard plastic, but not. They're kind of brittle, and yeah, I don't want to break them straight off. This is one I'm going to keep for display. There's his other fingers, and you can see very clearly all the detail. But I think it's the knuckles that are supposed to be blue. And then at the end of his gloves is supposed to be blue. Because I don't think they would mold them in black if they were supposed to be primarily blue and just a little bit of black. Here's his sword. And yeah, that's pretty cool there. Not sure what kind of animal that is. I guess it's some kind of dog, but a wolf maybe. I don't really know. And you can see it's warped due to packaging. You can always straighten that out with a little bit of heat, hot water, or what do you call it? Whatever it's like a blow dryer. 1, 2, 3, 4. He actually has 7 accessories technically, because he's got an extra piece right here, which a lot of people are very surprised about that they would do this. It's basically it's his neck in dog mode, I guess you would say. So you put that piece around his neck so it doesn't have the black neck. Now this should be colored on this side, because this is clearly molded on this side. Here's all, well, let me see. Now, there isn't any real molding on it, but it just looks, maybe it's backwards, or maybe this is a corrected version. I don't know. Whatever. I think it is backwards though, because it looks like the same as the other one that I got. Okay, here's his head, his alternate head, I guess. Doggy Kruger. Wow, he's got braids and everything. Dreadlocks. Pretty nicely painted. Nice sculpt. And of course, the main figure himself, which one thing you'll notice if you get these, Red Ranger has much stiffer arms and legs, and so does, I believe, Tommy, the White Ranger. So let's check that out. Yeah, this is a little bit stiffer than this one, just like on my Red Ranger and the Gold Ranger. He's got double jointed knees, kicks his own butt. He's got ankle pivot that is still works even though he's got this armor around him. And you can still move his foot up and down, but a little less because of this armor. He goes to a full kick. Oh wow, full out. Not quite splits, but pretty close. Pretty good. You can pose them in the splits. There it is there. And here's his head articulation. It's on a ball peg and a swivel. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Oh, see, his sound like ratchets. That one moved up real easy. Not as much movement as the Gold Ranger. He can't go further than 90 or further than a T, but he's also got bicep swivel and I believe double jointed elbows. Yes. And let's see how much we can get out of this. I don't want to break it, but not as much as the Gold Ranger, mainly just because of this armor piece, because it blocks, it runs into his bicep. Otherwise, it might actually do it. And I mean, do a full like 180. Not trying to do it on this side, but I'm sure it's going to be the same. Most likely. Yeah, because it's going to get in the way. Alright, but he's also got torso articulation and moves 360. He can go back a little bit. He can go forward. But it doesn't look like it actually goes anywhere because of his armor. He can, see, what about this belt? The belt, there we go. The belt is not glued down, so it is its own piece. It's rubber, and it goes around. So you should be able to get like Red Ranger type articulation, maybe, hopefully. Pretty close, not quite, maybe, but he goes back a decent amount. And for the most part, it looks like the paint job is pretty good on this one. Maybe or maybe not. It looks like there's a flaw right there. Pretty big flaw too. That's a lot of paint missing. The red. I'm gonna have to touch that up. Get like a red Sharpie or something. Maybe I'll show that in a future video. Probably not, because I'll probably forget or won't have it at the time. But yeah, articulation's good. Now, what I was saying before, when I first saw these, this is the one that I was most interested in. Because, well, he's my favorite color, kind of. He's blue. I was looking at him, and I was looking at Lord Zed, because Zed is very detailed, and I've never seen a figure that looks like Zed before. And yeah, he looks pretty good. I'm going to do a review on him when I get Kimberly. I'll review them together. And let's go ahead and try his effects piece real quick. I'm sure it's, wait, let's see. It should be pretty straightforward how to do this. It's only going to go on one way. Well, two ways. You can do it this way probably, or the opposite way. There we go. A little swirly. Now, that's one thing I really like about these. Is they all come with so many accessories, especially the effects piece, especially the newer ones. You can also probably, I don't know, use this for some kind of, maybe like if he could shoot energy out of his hands. I don't know if he can or not, probably not, but I don't know, but you could probably do other things with it. I'm surprised he didn't come with a gun. He's the only one that I've opened so far didn't come with a gun. But then again, I've only opened two. The red one and the gold one. So yeah, let's go ahead, I guess, and try his sword. You could put his sword in this hand. It's got a little bit of a loose grip, but it still holds. And most likely it's made for this hand. So yeah, tighter grip, but his hands are kind of rubbery. They're they're kind of rubbery, but they're kind of fragile too. It's kind of, I don't know, but it does have a tighter grip, and it does look good the way he holds it. Trying to get this to be in a easier, there we go, like a easier frame. But yeah, I like this guy. This is what this is for. Duh. This is for his, hey, this is my badge. You want to see my badge? That's what this is for. I am an SPD officer. And it fits in there perfectly for that, because his hand is perfectly articulated for that. And the one thing that I don't like is the motion. I guess that's okay for swords, but if he has a gun, you want it to be able to point up and down. And so far, none of the Rangers have that that I've seen. All right, so let's swap out his head real quick. That one came off. That was a little bit harder to get off than the last one. Let's see if this one, oh yeah, here's that extra piece I was talking about. So you want to put this in the front, the light color in the front. Also, if you do compare this to the actual TV show itself, this is more like a skin tight metal, like that's already on them, and these are almost like connected. So this, as an action figure, it looks good, but as far as the actual TV show, it doesn't really look like that accurate. And there you go. And his head does snap over that neck piece, so you want to get it aligned just perfect. Because mine's, I got it just a little bit off because it moved a little bit to the right when I put it on. But he actually has some decent articulation. Looks good. Goes all the way around. Yeah, so that's this Doggy Kruger guy. Let's put a sword in his sheath real quick, see what that looks like, and we'll be moving on to the other guy who also has a sword in his sheath. There we go. Take this out of his hand, and you can see if you can put it like on his, like if he's about to draw his sword out. Something like that. There we go. He's about to pull his sword out. And I'm guessing he's a good guy because he's a police officer, right? A little bit hard to stand with his legs out that much. But there he is. There's Doggy Kruger. Or the Shadow Police Department, whatever you want to call him. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to Mr. Magna Defender here. Untape his box real quick. I pulled the tape. See if he comes with that big piece of paper that has all the warnings on it like the other guy did, like the Gold Ranger. This is where it was at. It's on the very bottom. Yep, he does. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show it to you real quick. This is what it is by Hasbro. This is the back of it, actually. Warning, attention, Octong, advertencia, whatever. A bunch of warnings. And this may be a little different. Or maybe, yeah, it's just a bunch of copyrights and warnings, basically. Don't put anything in your mouth. It came out of this box. Alright, so let's get them out. There we go. And they got these little backdrops, but there's nothing underneath them. At least not as far as I can tell. Let's see, I didn't pull it out all the way, but I'll look through. Yeah. So you got a little bit of backdrop if you want to do that. Alright, so let's get this guy out of the way, because his hands are similar to, but this guy has these big pads on his gloves. Anyway, okay, so here's his gloves, here's his extra hands, and the extra hands normally they don't seem to hold anything. They seem to be like punching or chopping. Oh well, maybe not. This one looks like it could hold a sword. So, not sure why they would do that. Here's his big blaster. This stuff is really hard to get out of the package in front of the camera. It's very simplistic when you're behind the camera. Everything just pops out. It's just the angle of putting of everything. I take this. There we go. See how fast that was? There's his effects piece. There's his sword in his sheath. And his cape is actually behind there. So just like squeeze the bottom of the cape while you're pulling it out. He's rubber banded in too. That's why I'm having a hard time getting him out. He's rubber banded in 2 places. There we go. That's a lot of noise. Yeah, there. See, he's got rubber bands around his arms. Alright, so let's look at his sword real quick, see if it's detailed. Oh no, is it? No, it's not. Wait, it's gold. Yeah, I guess it is. It's gold. down there. Is it supposed to be more detailed? I thought it was. Let me see. Oh, maybe not. Didn't show any more than that on the box. So I guess not. Like I said, I'm not going to compare these to their counterparts. Maybe I'll put a picture at the end. I don't know. I'm trying to do this quicker. Trying to make it not a 40-minute video. But 20 minutes per figure with, 30 points of articulation. Or whatever they have. Here's his sheath. And this plugs in, obviously, to his belt. We'll do that in a minute. Alright, so here's a good look at him. So, the first thing I notice about him, his horns. They are a golden color. Wow, it's a lot more golden camera than it is not on camera. So I guess, well, at least what you guys are seeing looks pretty accurate. Because in the package, it's almost hard to tell if they're gold or silver. There's even one point in the show where it actually looks like they're like yellow, like banana yellow. And another thing I noticed, all these, when they're in the package, they're going to be warped because of the way they package it, which kind of sucks. The good thing is these get out of the way. Let's see how much articulation you're going to get out of these. Let me see here. Alright, so these untab out of his shoulders. The cape actually untabs out of the top of his shoulders. I don't know if you can take it all the way off. I don't know if this is glued down. It's not like popping off real easy, but it's definitely plugged into his back somewhere. Now, as far as the shoulder pads are on some kind of a swivel thing. It's hard to show. You see it right there, the joint. I don't know if those, it kind of looks like they would come out, but I don't know for that for sure, and I'm definitely not going to try it. You could see that he looks like he has butterfly joints as well. But as far as the costume itself, it looks like what I remember on the show. It looks good. So let's see about, I don't think you're going to get that articulation like you would out of the Gold Ranger with this guy. He's not going to move his arms like all the way up, like more than a T shaped. And let's see, you can tell that he's got the butterflies, the butterfly joints. It almost sounds like a ratchet joint. He's got bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows. Let's see how much articulation you get out of that. This is really hard to do because those things are really in the way. There you go. He gets it almost all the way up. Further, or at least as far as Doggy Kruger did. But part of his armor is in the way on his bicep. So you're not going to get a full 180 out of it like you can with the other Ranger, the Gold Ranger. He has articulation, but it's going in and out again. Again, with the sword, that's okay, I guess. But with the gun, I prefer to go the other way. And let's see about these. Yeah, these are still the same way, in and out. They're not up and down. So that kind of not good. But he's still got the same kind of joints as the heroes, as the Power Rangers. He's still got that joint, so he can bend down pretty good. Um, so that means he can bend back pretty good too, probably. Yep. And I mean, adjust this camera a bit. He's got, of course, thigh cuts, nice and not too tight, not too loose. He's got double jointed knees. And he kicks his own butt. And of course, he's got the ankle pivot that goes all the way around. His feet go up that much, just a little bit because of the armor, and go back a lot. And probably same with this one. Yep. And you know, you can actually turn his foot upside down when it's in that position. And he can, because of his armor, he cannot spread out very far at all because of the thigh armor touching. And he can go up, but he like also goes up at an angle because of the armor. He can go back a lot for some reason. He can go all the way back actually. So he has some articulation, but I mean he's got a lot of articulation, but not as much as the Rangers due to his armor, to the sculpt of his armor. So get that back together in the right spot, and of course he's got the the waist, the ab swivel, whatever you want to call it. Swivel at the abdomen. It's not a waist swivel. There's nothing at the waist. But let's go ahead and put his sheath on here. And of course, as you know, it holds the sword because it actually comes packaged with the sword in there. This is kind of a loose fit, just a little bit. It's not like it would come off very easily if you move this around a little bit, but it's firm enough that just enough friction, just enough going in that it's not going to probably fall off if you have it displayed on something. But if you're playing with it, or if you have a younger person playing with it, it'll probably come off pretty easily. And there you go. There's a sword in the sheath, and it does not come down, like it doesn't come out of here. Actually, it looks like this in a way. It looks like a gun. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think it is, but then again, I haven't seen the show a whole lot. So here's his real gun, his blaster rifle. I guess is that what you call it. Oh, this looks like it can go on there as well. You know, you might even be able to plug it into their arm. What do you know? You can. It's a transformer. You can plug it into his arm because it's got that same kind of plug as the sheath does. So I guess you could plug this into, maybe that's why it's not so tight, because you can go in and out with this. Or maybe you can yeah, it is a separate piece, but it's glued down on the side. It's glued down on the right side, or plugged in one or the other. Let me see, because you can't move it around. It's plugged in definitely, for sure. I don't know about glue. Sorry, I'm off camera for so long. Trying to figure it out, but I don't want to break it at the same time. Yeah, it's glued in there. I peeled it off just enough to see the white stress marks of the glue. So it's actually glued, it's pegged and glued in on this side. So if you're a customizer, I don't know, you want this on this side with this gun, maybe you could do that. I mean, I'm sure you could, but you'd have to, well, I don't know if you could actually, because then you'd have to have it on this side plugged in or glue it on the other side. But anyway, so did I put this in his hand? I think I did. Maybe not. He's got a trigger finger on this side, so it's most likely for this. There we go. That looks pretty nice. And it's a very tight fit. But it looks good too. So it's not as bad as like the Red Ranger. Well, we're coming up on 40 minutes already. And here's his blast effect. Oh, wow. It doesn't want to... see, it's got a little bit of molding on the end of it. So I think it goes on a certain direction. Yeah. So it'll hold on. I was going to say that little hole, that's not going to keep it on there. But it's got a little bit of an indentation, so to keep it on there. And there's his extra hands, which I'm not going to plug in. Plus we're running out of time really fast. Trying to get him to stand up. There we go. That's what he looked like. And in case you're curious, I'm pretty sure this blast effect will work for the sword too. There we go. I'm not sure what that is, but I think that's upside down actually. I think it goes the other way. No, actually I had it right the first time. So it goes on a specific direction. And I was going to say, if you're curious, will it fit on anybody else's weapon? I don't have Tommy, or I don't have what do you call it, the Red Ranger out here. It'll kind of fit on him, on his. I don't know what you would want to do that for, but alright, so see if it'll fit on this guy's fingers. Doggy's fingers on his alternate hand. Maybe. Kinda. Yeah, but it's not. It's not straight. Because like I said, it's got a special molding to it. On the inside right there. See if I can get it to zoom in. Alright, so unfortunately this is still a 40-minute video. I just can't do it in under... I could do a one figure in less time, but this one gave me a little bit of surprises because I wasn't sure how the articulation works on this. Maybe I really should open these up and play with them a little bit before I do anything. We didn't go over his head articulation, did we? It goes from side to side. You can look up a bit and look down a bit. Yeah, but his cape keeps popping out now. But yeah, so as far as this goes, it works, but it's got a little bit of quite a bit of hindrance actually, because I mean if you compare it to the Gold Ranger, it's a lot of hindrance. But even with this guy, with a SPD Ranger, you can use his cape to balance him at least. And yeah, so he's got a lot more articulation. But articulation's there, but I don't know if you could do something with these, or if you want to take them off and customize them. They're made out of plastic, but it's a little bit of softer, but it's still hard plastic, but it has a little bit of give to it. But yeah, that's the Magna Defender right there. And the next video, I mean, there's only 8 Rangers out so far as regular Rangers. So I guess the next one will be the White Ranger with the Beast Morphers Red Ranger. And so, and then I'll do the Pink Ranger and Lord Zed together because they're the single packs. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It was kind of difficult, but I'll see you guys on the next one. And I think I'll pull out Tommy and play with him maybe a little bit before I review him, just to make it shorter. So thank you guys for watching, and see you on the next one.